Hello, my name is Travis Young. I'm a 56-year-old. I say that now, former athlete, um, who has recently suffered an Achilles tendon rupture. And I decided that I wanted to make some videos to document this experience and perhaps help others who are going through similar situation. This has been a difficult injury, and both mentally and physically. And I am currently at week 5.5 from the event. So this first video is about what happened and to describe how I got to that place. Yeah. I am a 8th degree black belt in the International Taekwondo Federation, and I practice and teach Taekwondo about 3 to 5 times a week, depending on situation. I teach at the University of Texas, and I've been teaching there since '96 and been attending there since 1991. I was a high-level competitor at one point, having represented the United States at the World Championships in Taekwondo in 2001 in Rimini, Italy. And since then, I have continued to train and be physical in my life. I usually have some kind of daily exercise routine, from riding my road bike to walking and jogging to doing Taekwondo pattern or teaching class. So I'm involved doing something physical every day. Taekwondo sparring requires that we have good footwork and movement, hard cutting movements and circular motion. And usually all of the techniques are performed barefoot on some kind of padded floor. And I was training fairly regularly, although I am 8 months out of rotator cuff repair. And so there was a period of about 2 months post the rotator cuff surgery that I was really not doing much. That was a pretty debilitating surgery, and could not do much except walk, which I did quite a bit, maybe 2 to 3 miles a day for my recovery from the rotator cuff. And for the week prior to the injury, I had been visiting London with my family, and we had walked 7 to 10 miles a day using public transportation and going to different tourist places around the city of London, using London as a base point. And so I was using the leg a lot. And then my family flew home, and I had a day or two and went to Ireland and went to the International Taekwondo Federation coaching conference there. I was planning to attend as a representative from the USA and ITF America. And I participated. The very first day was Friday. I went and walked 3 miles into the downtown just to do a little sightseeing. And then I went to a lecture. And then after the lecture, we had our first session, practical session. It was some sparring. And so I warmed up and was warm from my walk and felt no issues with my ankle or with the Achilles tendon. Hadn't been feeling any pain or tenderness in those areas at all, and was warm. I had been practicing drills for about 15 minutes, and we were working on a particular drill where we were only allowed to use a side kick, and I was going against a fairly high-level younger competitor from Ireland, where he was using his side kick and I was using mine. And became evident at the very beginning of the round that his side kick was far superior to mine. And so I had to start running around to try to avoid getting hit with his side kick. And so I started moving and cutting and using my footwork. And at one point, I stepped back and planted really hard on my left foot to propel myself forward, to kind of do a change in direction and see if I could try to attack with my kick. And it felt like, to me, that somebody had stepped on the back of my heel as I stepped back and had forced the heel into the ground. And I felt a kind of wrenching sensation. and maybe a burning in the bottom of my foot, maybe some numbness in the bottom of my foot. It wasn't highly painful. I felt like, it's maybe a rolled ankle or something, maybe the step on, and I rolled my foot. And so I immediately looked around and I saw there's other people on the floor sparring, doing the same drill. And I saw a rather large fella behind me, and I thought, he must have stepped on me. And he didn't acknowledge that. And someone asked me if I'd rolled my ankle, and I said, I don't know. And I went to stand up, and as I put weight on the foot, it immediately collapsed, and I fell to the ground again. And I knew that I was in trouble. And I started thinking, this feels a little bit like I don't have any push-off power, like my Achilles has been damaged. And it started to occur to me, at which point, having been just starting to get back into regular training, both riding my bike, doing Taekwondo, teaching class, sparring with my students, since my rotator cuff, it was really a big bummer to think I have hurt myself, not to mention that I was alone in a foreign country and had to navigate getting back. So just a brief coverage on what happened after that. One of the instructors at this seminar was a physio, and she took a look at my situation and did what they call the Thompson squeeze test. And I was positive for that, meaning that I had a full tendon rupture. They took me, her and another gentleman took me to an urgent care facility and stopped their personal training. And I was very thankful for that. They took me to urgent care, and I got x-rays, examination by a doctor, got fitted with a boot and some crutches, and then said, okay, here's the new normal, boot and crutches. And they had a pretty good size heel lift of some hard rubber wedges in the bottom of the heel. And I immediately was weight bearing on it. It wasn't very painful. And I was able to use the crutches. My right leg is my weaker side. I've had some other injuries and surgeries on that one. And I compensate a lot with my left leg. And so having my left leg damaged was bad and frustrating. But I decided to continue going to the conference. I went the next 2 days, even wearing uniform on Sunday. I was able to participate a little bit more on Sunday, and then navigated getting back home to Austin, Texas, where I set up some appointments to see orthopedic surgeon, assuming that I would probably have surgery. Although having conversations with a few other folks at the conference, I had talked to 2 people that had had the same Achilles rupture and had managed through a non-surgical route, which I was very surprised, given that 20, 30 years ago, this was career-ending kind of injury, with being in a cast for many, many months and or 6 weeks or so, and then having to rehab a highly atrophied leg. So I was not. I knew that there were some other options, but I was surprised to know that you could actually heal this thing without surgery. And that is what I am trying to do at week 6 this coming Friday. So about 5.5 weeks from the surgery. I've been in the boot day and night, and been trying to exercise. I've been walking on the crutches, doing a mile or 2 every once in a while. I ride the stationary bike in the boot, and I see the orthopedic surgeon again in another week, and hopefully we are progressing in the right direction. And after this, I will set up another video to kind of talk about what I've been doing over the last 4 to 6 weeks. So that was the event. And if you have any questions, you can ask me in the comments. There really was no indication that I had anything going wrong. And so that's what's very concerning. I immediately started looking at why, I guess. And so I have some ideas about that, but I'll share that in another video. So that's the beginning, and hopefully we'll make a few of these over the next several months, documenting the progress.